Ahmed Hussen is Canada's Minister of Housing and Diversity and Inclusion, and he joins me now. Minister, it's good to see you again, and thank you for taking time to speak with me tonight. First of all, look, this is a solemn anniversary, the one-year anniversary of the Afzal family members being killed in London, Ontario. And I guess I'm wondering, what are your reflections about the loss and concerns about the depth of Islamophobia in this country?
Well, it's the one-year anniversary, as you said, since the London attack. It's the 5-year anniversary since the Quebec City mosque shooting. And since that time, and before that time, and after that time, there's been a number of incidents. And Islamophobia is real. It's a troubling fact in Canada, and it is a reality for far too many members of the Canadian Muslim community. And we have to do everything that we can to work to eradicate Islamophobia from Canada.
The creation of the special representative to combat Islamophobia was the chief recommendation from the Islamophobia Summit last July, and you announced the promise to create this position back in January. Why has it taken so long just to get to the opening of the application process, 6 months here to get that started?
Because we have to do things right, and part of doing things right is to engage the very community that this recommendation came from, which is the Canadian Muslim community. And we've been engaging them throughout the process to make sure that as we develop the mandate, as we develop the framework of the special representative, the team that will support the special representative, the budget that is needed to support the work of the special representative, all of those things are things that we have been engaging the Muslim community on to make sure that we're getting it right, to make sure that they have confidence in the process and eventually in the outcome. And so today is another big step in that journey. It's the announcement of the opening of the call for applications. Hopefully, a critical mass of people apply, and we are then able to move forward with an open, transparent, merit-based process so that we can appoint as quickly as possible the special representative.
And do you have a timeline for that? When do you expect the special representative to actually be on the job?
It would obviously depend on the level of interest and the number of applications that we receive, but we will move as quickly as possible to conclude the merit-based, transparent, open process for the selection. And once that is completed, we will move ahead with the appointment as quickly as possible. This individual will be a champion, an advisor, and an expert on Islamophobia, and they will work with other institutions, other orders of government, as well as being the main advisor to the Government of Canada.
Let me ask you about that. The office will have a budget of $1.2 million. What is the mandate of this special representative? What actual powers will this individual have to influence, for instance, government policies to deal with Islamophobia in this country?
As I said, they'll bring expertise to the table. They will have the power of being the main advisor on Islamophobia to the Government of Canada. They will be the champion for these issues. They will do research. They will issue recommendations. They will, help us to move forward on further steps that we can take to tackle hate, to tackle Islamophobia. And as we take a human rights-based approach to this process and many other work initiatives that we are doing to combat hate in all its forms, this is yet another important step that we're taking to combat hate. And I can tell you that this special representative will be critical in our engagement with the Muslim community and making sure that Canadian Muslims, in addition to other religious and racialized communities in Canada, feel safe and are indeed safe in their own communities.
Okay, just to be clear on what this role would be, what kind of powers will this person have? Look at what's happening in the province of Quebec, where the Muslim community there and other minority communities feel targeted by some of the provincial laws that have been well noted in Quebec. They feel that they reflect or contribute to Islamophobia. Will this person, for instance, be given the authority, the powers to launch legal action against provincial laws they think feed Islamophobia?
Well, we have a responsibility as a government to defend the rights of all Canadians. I think what we're trying to do with this appointment is to make sure that we bring expertise to the table. We make sure that there is a focal point in the government for critical, important advice, and someone who's actually championing this and is given the tools to do the work across government and across different stakeholders and institutions. That is the way to do proper government policy. The best way to create good government policy in Ottawa is to talk to Canadians and to actually listen to advice and from experts and be led by the evidence. That's what this person's main role will be.
All right. Speaking of consulting and listening to advice, your government's still consulting on the promised online hate bill. When will that legislation be introduced, and what's taking so long to put that bill before Parliament?
Obviously, Minister Rodriguez and Minister Lametti are leading this. It's something that I know is a key priority for our government. The important thing is to get it right, again, to be led by the experts. We listen to experts. We listen to, and we're guided by the evidence, and the experts will get us to the right place in this. We're absolutely determined. It's a key election promise that we made, that what happens online has real world consequences, and we must tackle online hate and online harms caused to Canadians, and the social media platforms have to absolutely take responsibility for the hateful content that is sometimes placed on their platform.
You've talked a lot about wanting to get it right, and I guess, do you have any concerns about making sure that new legislation, online hate legislation, does get it right? Because some of the criticisms from the Muslim community at the same time that you're creating the office of the representative to combat Islamophobia. They've expressed concerns in the Muslim community about some of the proposed language being used for the anti-hate legislation, defining terrorist activity, content that they worry could actually increase discrimination against their community. So how do you respond to those concerns?
I've been exposed to that literature. I've actually heard that criticism, and that's part of engagement. This is why it's important to listen to communities, because they'll give you their perspective, their well-informed lived experience and expertise on proposed legislation, and that is precisely why taking the time to get it right is so important. And we will listen to Canadian Muslims as well as other religious groups and racialized communities in Canada when we're tackling this issue of online hate and online harms.
All right. Minister Hussen, thank you for your perspective. Always good to talk to you, and appreciate you taking time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.